It's just preparing the stream. Just give it a minute. Okay. Good. Good to go.
Okay. Well, good afternoon. Today's meeting is currently being conducted by way of electronic participation as permitted under Section 238 sub 3.3 of the Municipal Act. The changes to the Municipal Act under Bill 187 now permit municipalities to amend their procedural bylaw to allow council members to participate electronically and count towards quorum both in open and in closed session meetings. However, these meetings may only be conducted during a period of provincial or municipal emergency declared under the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act. There is presently an emergency declared to exist within the town of Shelburne, resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Today's meeting is being video and voice recorded in order to be published to the town of Shelburne YouTube page, the website, and social media sources to allow members of the public an opportunity to view today's proceedings. Correspondence related to the agenda business may be submitted via email to the clerk. So with that, we will call the meeting to order. And before we begin, I would just ask the clerk to do a quick roll call just to make sure that everybody is present and that their video and audio is working. Could you just do a roll call through, Jennifer, just the council members, just to make sure everybody's online?
Mayor Mills,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson, Councillor Bernardo,
Yes.
Councillor Buffett,
Yes.
Councillor Fegan,
Yes.
Councillor Hall,
Yes.
Councillor Wagner.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. We have quorum.
Okay, thank you. Just ask for a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as circulated.
I'll move it. Wait.
Moved by Councillor Bernardo. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
I'll second it.
Moved by Councillor Fegan. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That's carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Council members can declare those now, or as the matter arises through the agenda, those declarations have to be made in writing and filed with the clerk. The first matter of business on the agenda is report LS 2020-01, which is a report from the clerk regarding procedural bylaw amendment to allow for electronic participation under Bill 187. So I'll ask Jennifer to give a brief presentation on that report.
So included in the agenda is a copy of my report. On March 19th, 2020, the province passed legislation enacting the Municipal Emergency Act 2020, or titled Bill 187, which now permits meetings of council to be conducted via electronic means during an emergency. The changes to the Municipal Act under Bill 187 now permit municipalities to amend the procedural bylaw to allow council members to participate electronically and count towards quorum in both open and closed session meetings. However, only during a period of provincial or municipal emergency declared under the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act may the electronic participation take place. In accordance with Bill 187, the staff recommendation and resulting council resolution will allow a member participating electronically in a meeting to be counted in determining whether or not a quorum of members is present at any time during the meeting. A member who participates electronically shall have the same rights and responsibilities as if they were in physical attendance, including the right to vote. Staff have worked quickly to ensure technology is in place to facilitate a meeting through electronic participation. Let's see. So as of today, live streaming of today's meeting is being accommodated through YouTube. The video is also being recorded and will be uploaded to the town's YouTube page after the fact as well. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank the cities of Brampton and Mississauga and the town of Orangeville for sharing their information in order to allow staff to bring forward the amendment to you, as well as a protocol for emergency management meetings. The fee to purchase the Zoom meeting was $400. That's a yearly subscription. We can renew it on a yearly basis. And I'm afraid that's everything, if you have any questions.
Okay. We'll get the motion on the floor and then we can open it up for discussion. So the motion reads as follows. Be it resolved, the council receives report LS 2020-01 from the clerk for information, and the council adopts the emergency electronic meeting protocol attached as Appendix 1 hereto to be applied to any electronic meeting held in conjunction with the amendments to procedural bylaw number 15-2019. And further, that leave be given for the reading and enacting of bylaw number 15-2020, being a bylaw to govern the proceedings of council during an emergency declaration under sections 4 or section 7.0.1 of the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act. Do I have a mover and seconder for that motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Hall.
I can second it.
Second.
It's
Seconded by Councillor Wagner. Okay, so in terms of discussion, I think we'll just sort of virtually make our way around the council table. So I'll ask each individual council member just so we avoid anybody speaking over each other. Councillor Bernardo, do you have any questions or comments?
I still wondering about, I know the program we're using, I'm still a little concerned. There's, even this afternoon, there were 2 attorney generals down in the States that were going after this particular company. And I know they've had some issues with security in their, because of the fact, I guess, with everyone being home and using the program, they ballooned and they've had some issues with the program. So I'm just a little concerned, but other than that, as long as we're able to keep security on what we're doing and making sure that we don't get hacked or anything else, or something goes wrong with it, then I have no other, questions or concerns. But like I said, even this afternoon in the news, that Zoom does have some issues.
Jennifer, do you want to address that at all?
Just wanted to let council know, keep in mind that this is only used in an emergency scenario. We do have live streaming equipment purchased to be set up through our eScribe software. So this is just used only on a necessary temporary basis.
Okay. All right.
Jennifer, can you just explain some of what you outlined in your email in terms of the precautions we put in place in terms of, the security measures? This is not an open forum with respect to how Jennifer has set this up using Zoom.
Yes, and it definitely is based on how you set up your account. You've got to make sure your account is set up using the required privacy settings and that there's no file sharing permitted. The host only has video permissions. That's basically, as long as you've got your privacy settings set properly. There still may be an opportunity for someone to hack in, but those that are being hacked have been sharing their Zoom links via social media. So once you shared that link publicly, that's opened up the whole access issue and ability for someone to hack into your meeting.
If I can comment a little further, in some of the research I've been doing on it, apparently there's some automated bots that they're using to grab a hold of the IDs. Like when you sent out, for example, the meeting ID to us and how to get into the meeting, that they're using that. And that is some of the ways that they're breaking into some of these private meetings as well. And again, that's where I'm getting a little cautious and concerned. And I'm not saying that someone's going to break in necessarily to the town of Shelburne meeting, but if there is malicious people, they're out there, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I'll just
Councillor
note
Buffett.
that- sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, Denise.
I just wanted to say that myself and Carrie participated on a webinar through Omni on Friday, which was based on all the protocols for working from home for employers. And on that list of teleconferencing support were a number of other firms other than Zoom. So we do know that some of our colleague municipalities are using Microsoft Teams. We chose this because it was economical and we believe that it would meet our needs. But certainly if there are issues that arise based on what Councillor Bonato has outlined, that we certainly have opportunities to switch providers. And as Jennifer's all indicated, we've invested a significant amount of money with eScribe to allow us to do webcasting come September.
Okay. Councillor Buffett.
Just with what Denise was saying about webcasting, can you maybe elaborate on that a bit more?
I'll let Jennifer speak to the eScribe because that was part of the project that she led.
Okay.
So included in the permissions given to myself from council last September to purchase the eScribe software, it also includes live webcasting, which will go directly from our Facebook page. There will be a direct link, or sorry, from our website. There will be a direct link from our website. Camera has been purchased. There's microphones purchased as well. So it will be a direct, still no Zoom will be used whatsoever. It will be a direct live feed from council chambers through that webcasting camera.
Okay, and would any members of the public be able to make any comments on anything, or are we just doing it just for council only?
It's just to strictly allow those that don't have the ability to attend the council meeting. They could sit at home or sit at work and watch it.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Fegan.
The only comment I would make, I understand that we have security concerns, but considering the situation that we're in, I think we really need to make sure that we have business operating. So I'm perfectly okay with this at this point. I know that staff is monitoring it very closely, and I trust their judgment implicitly in this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the bottom line is, you know, we're not discussing anything that's sensitive. I mean, if we did have to have an emergency in-camera meeting, that might be slightly different. But I mean, at this point, it's all open session anyways. So, you know, I think we're okay for the time being. But Councillor Hall.
Similar, again, the bylaw really here is talking about electronic messaging. It's not talking about the media in which you use for that electronic messaging. So I understand that we're using this current platform, and that doesn't mean it has to stay that in the future if we have future concerns that exist.
Yeah. Okay. And Councillor Wagner.
Yeah, I think any concerns have been addressed very well by Jennifer and Denise. My only question, just so the public is aware, I'm just worried that they might be like, well, where's this $400 coming from? So if Jennifer can just speak to the budget and where the $400 was pulled from.
Yep, I sure can. So in my report under financial impact, it states that purchase amount can be accommodated within the 2020 budget through the General Government Service Administration section, and there is an IT section in there where it'll be expensed through that GL.
Perfect. I mean, I did read that, as well as I'm assuming every other counselor. I'm just wanting the public to be aware.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Does anybody want me to reread the motion?
I'm good.
So it's moved by Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor Wagner. Jennifer, could we do this one just sort of by roll call, like a recorded vote, just so that it's clearly on the record?
We sure can. Mayor Mills?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson is not on the call. Councillor Bonato?
Yes.
Councillor Buffett?
Yes.
Councillor Fegan?
Yes.
Counselor Hall,
Yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion's passed.
Okay, thank you. So the second item on the agenda is a review of the community relief plan. This is the plan that we rolled out 2 weeks ago today, I guess. And I think this is just an opportunity to sort of formally recognize that within the context of a council meeting, and allow for any further discussion that we may have. So I'll entertain a mover and a seconder for the motion, which reads, be it resolved, the council receives the community relief plan for information as presented and circulated.
I'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Buffett, seconded by
I'll second it.
Councillor Fegan. Okay, so we'll go in reverse order this time. Councillor Wagner, any comments or questions?
No, I think everything is on target so far. You know, nobody really knows how much longer this is going to go. So I feel as of right now, it does the job.
Okay. Councillor Hall,
Similar, I think at this point, being the initial step, it covers what we need at this moment.
Councillor Fegan,
Nothing really to add.
Councillor Buffett,
Nothing else to add.
and Councillor Bernardo.
Comments. Yes, sir.
Good. And just to echo Councillor Wagner's comments, when this was first discussed and rolled out, I mean, it very much was discussed within the context that this would be a living document. So, you know, depending upon how long we have to endure the current state of affairs, you know, obviously we may have to look at updating this or extending it further, but I do agree with the rest of my council colleagues that I think for the time being, it is serving the purpose. So with that, Jennifer, could I ask you to do another roll call vote?
Sure can. Mayor Mills,
Yes.
Counselor Bernardo,
Yes.
Counselor Buffett,
Yes.
Counselor Fegan,
Yes.
Counselor Hall,
Yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Yes.
Motion's passed, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of communications, there's a number of pieces of communication included in the agenda. Is there anything in particular that anybody would like to pull out and deal with individually? Okay, not seeing any, I'll ask for a mover and seconder for the motion that reads, be it resolved, the council receives the items under 3.0 communications for information. Mover and seconder
I'll
for
move
that.
that.
Moved by Councillor Buffett, seconded by
I'll second the motion.
Councillor Hall. All right. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, so the next item is council inquiries. So I think we'll do this the same way. We'll just go around the table to avoid anybody speaking over each other. So Councillor Bernardo, do you have any inquiries?
I sort of made my inquiries maybe a little prior to the meeting. I had some inquiries regarding street cleaning and sidewalk cleaning, and I was informed that that will be happening in the future. And that was from the public actually, and that's the only inquiries I have.
Okay. Councillor Buffett?
I have no inquiries at this time.
Councillor Fegan?
Just one that just came in actually, regards to the question I was asking about the rail trails earlier before we started the meeting. Just got notification that county closes off forests and trails due to gathering. Can we get confirmation as soon as possible on that so I can forward to SPS for verification?
Yes.
Yeah, the county has closed the the county forests, and I'll try to get some clarifications to what they're going to do with the trail, if anything, and we'll get that passed along.
Okay, just for public's knowledge, what we're referring to is the rail trail as well being used for ATVs. So we're looking in some for information on whether that's part of that or not.
Councillor Hall
Nothing at this time.
and Councillor Wagner.
No, my inquiry was going to also be about street sweeping and sidewalk cleaning, so Walter covered that.
Okay. Does staff want to provide any updates at this point?
Sure. Carrie first.
Okay. Carrie, go ahead.
Okay, this is in relation to the development charge study that we've undertaken and are right smack dab in the middle of. We've had some consultation with Hempson, as well as getting some legal advice on interpreting the legislation. So there's approximately 24 municipalities that are in the same situation as we are in, whereby their DC bylaw is going to expire. So the legal advice that we received, as you know, in order for the town to continue to levy development charges, we must pass a new DC bylaw prior to our current bylaw expiring, which is May 25th. The DC Act requires that we hold a public meeting for that, and we have advertised for that public meeting to be held on Monday, April the 20th. However, there are no provisions in the Municipal Act for us to hold a virtual public meeting. So the town has been seeking information and direction from the province on the options available to enable us to be able to continue to levy DC charges beyond May 25th. And what we've decided to do in speaking with Steve Weaver, our planner, and the consultants, as well as in consultation with our lawyer, in order to avoid the lapsing of the current DC bylaw prior to the new one becoming into effect, the town will continue to hold a public meeting on April the 20th and proceed with a council decision for the new DC bylaw prior to it expiring. So the risk associated with doing so is that by holding a virtual public meeting in the absence of explicit authorization, we are risking that someone could appeal the DC bylaw for its illegality. But despite this risk, the town feels that it's better to have a DC bylaw that is potentially open to challenge rather than being left with a DC bylaw that has expired. So in doing so, we've agreed that our planner will send out the Zoom meeting link the same way that we send it to you. He will forward that to all the developers and anyone that he can think of that has current interest in the town. And Jennifer has agreed to this. So worst case scenario, somebody appeals it and we're not able to collect, but at least we have a bylaw that's under appeal. The other thing too that a lot of stakeholders are pushing for is for the province to put a freeze on all DCs, including a freeze on indexing, the annual indexing that normally occurs as well. So should the province take that route, we'll gladly have that option available to us, and actually it would solve our problems with our DC bylaw set to expire. We've written to, actually Hempson, has written to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the mayor is also going to reach out to Minister Steve Clerk directly, and we've also been in contact with Sylvia Jones. So we're hoping that prior to the April 20th meeting, something will be decided by the province that will help us. But in the meantime, we're carrying on status quo And our draft bylaws are being uploaded to our website today, because today is the last day for advertising the bylaws in prior to them being passed on May 25th. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Denise?
No.
I can just give a real-time update. I missed a call from MPP Jones while we've been on this Zoom meeting. So she sent a text to say that we'll connect after their cabinet meeting this evening. So.
Okay.
And just to be clear, the public meeting is a meeting pursuant to the Planning Act, right, Jennifer?
That's correct.
And that's the difficulty. So even though Bill 187 provides for electronic meetings under the Municipal Act, you know, I think it was probably just, you know, something that fell through the cracks, but no similar provision allows for electronic meetings technically pursuant to the Planning Act. But I think probably what we're going to do is certainly within the spirit of Bill 187. And, you know, without any other option, that's about all we can do at this point.
Who would have led the public, the meeting on the 20th if we were to do a virtual meeting? Would it be Hempson that would start off leading it through, or would it be our planner?
Probably Hempson would present their background study.
They would have to, okay. So they would be the first to go on there. Would our planner be a part of it as well?
Yes.
And how would developers be able to question Hempson or our planner? In live, I guess in live mode the same way, they'd have to be on the Zoom the same way as we are being able to question them?
Yes, and we're also asking for written submission prior to the April 20th meeting, so that we have those questions in advance.
So the only way that it, in my mind, that it could be challenged was if we miss somebody that might have a development of something in the process. For example, somebody who thought they should be a part of it, that discussion.
Correct.
That would be the only way, and it would be no different if they didn't notice the public meeting on the 20th and didn't come to council, would it not?
Yeah, that's right. Because that notice went out several weeks ago. It had to be in the papers. It's been out like at least 3 weeks for the April 20th meeting. And it's been on our website, and the background study has been on our website as well. We've met all the timeline criteria necessary for this to go through.
Can we put something up on our website publicly in case there's anybody who feels they want to be a part of the meeting, just to let them know if you want to be a part of this, basically put their name in on a list so that they can make sure that they're included?
Yes, that's a good idea. With the Zoom meeting, we have room for 100 participants. So we have to make sure that all of council is able to sign on, the consultants and staff, prior to exceeding the 100 limit. But I doubt that we would get to that. But we could put that on the website and have them contact Jennifer so that we could send them the link as well.
Okay.
Just
Denise, you've been
sorry.
waiting with your hand.
And so referring back to what Carrie mentioned, that and the mayor, that it seems like this process under the Planning Act has fallen through the cracks. Ideally, we would like to get direction from the province with respect to the status of this meeting and our obligations under the Planning Act. And if there were extensions granted for our current DC study and or freezes placed, our problem is solved. But I mean, this is a bit of a challenge to manage to ensure that it's an invite only process. But given the legal advice we were given, we don't have much of a choice because having this DC expire is more problematic than going through this process. But we are really hoping, like other municipalities that are facing this very unique situation, is that we will not need to have a virtual meeting on the 20th of April. That's our hope.
Sorry, Councilor Bernardo, there was a bit of a time lag there and you got cut off. Did you have another comment?
Well, it was more of a question. like right now, if the development charges were to lapse, we're not getting a lot of development process going through because of what the province has put in place. Am I correct in that?
No,
Construction sort of halted.
it's halted, but if you don't have a DC, you can't collect any fees. So having it lapse is very, very dangerous. Like, so it's not, if it lapses and we don't have a supplemental DC in place for approval, we have no authority to collect any DCs after the 25th of May, which means zero income.
I guess what I'm saying, there's also going to be a time frame before construction can restart back up again, or they can come in for permits or anything of that nature there. Am I correct in that thought process?
Okay, I'll start, and then Jennifer or Jim can follow. The list of essential services that was revised by the province on Friday includes certain things being eliminated, but if construction or residential has footings in the ground, they're allowed to proceed. So there will be a number of, and I'll let Jim speak to that at Highland. The challenge will be is that the county is not providing building inspection services at the moment, so we're waiting to hear from them. But we are still in the process of accepting applications and processing them. The fact that they can't get building permits doesn't preempt the fact that an application has DCs applicable to it. So if there's anything more for Jim or Jennifer, I'll let them expand. I think that's a no.
There we go.
I can just clarify, anyone that had a permit that was issued prior to April 4th, they are permitted to keep ongoing construction. All industrial construction, except for critical infrastructure, is on the non-essential list.
Just clarify that if I wanted to submit an application right now, I could do so.
Yes, we are still.
And we will process. So that's why having DCs is critically important to us.
The applications can still go in even though construction isn't actually
Absolutely.
taking place.
Yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
the DCs apply to the application process still.
Okay. Any
So-
other staff updates?
I can generally just say that we're continuing obviously to provide all or most services on behalf of the town of Shelburne, even though some are pared down with respect to scope. As a very small staff team, we've been realigning and refocusing, obviously like others, and almost exclusively dealing with COVID-19 related service impacts. We have restructured how we're doing operational services with 2 shifts right now through Jim's team. And then we're looking at how our staff predominantly right now are working from home, and we've evolved from a hybrid system. This week, in I guess out of recognition for very strong advice we've received, and to keep us separated more so than we are now, we will be moving to a more exclusive work from home protocol for admin with occasional need to come in as required. But our goal is to make sure as a very small staff team, if one of us in a very small office became sick, we have a significant, I guess, transmission impact to the rest of our colleagues, which literally takes us all out, given how serious COVID-19 is in terms of keeping us isolated from one another. So we're going to try that for 3 weeks, and we're constantly reevaluating our structure and how we actually are delivering service. So we hope that the public is seeing the services still delivered. Obviously, there's some that are not being delivered. And we will be looking at, similar to other municipalities through the team tomorrow, we've discussed it today, on making the utilization of outdoor facilities, rentals, and all such park amenities not available. Obviously, we have rentals starting the 4th of May, which aren't going to proceed, and then letting those user groups know what the estimated time is. And we've seen other municipalities cancel up to the end of June 2020.
Okay. Jim or Jennifer, do you have anything else to add?
I'm good.
I think I'm okay.
Okay. All right, well, with that, the confirming bylaw, the motion reads, be it resolved that leave be given for the reading and enacting of bylaw number 16-2020, being a bylaw to confirm certain proceedings of the council of the corporation of the town of Melbourne for its special council meeting held April 6th, 2020. The mover and seconder for that?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Fegan,
I'll second.
seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Bernardo. All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. And finally, be it resolved that we now adjourn to meet at the call of the mayor. Moved by,
I'll move.
don't all jump.
I'll move.
Bernardo, seconded by Councillor Wagner. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That's carried. All right, well, thank you all. Thanks, Jennifer, for setting this up. I think it went reasonably smoothly, so yeah, we'll keep going and just keep us posted.
Will do.
All right. Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dave.
Bye.